also want to just touch a little bit on the open source AI definition, because another big thing that landed in 2024 was the 1.0 version of OSAID, as we have an acronym for everything. As expected, there's some controversy around the definition. If you look into that open source AI definition, then you will see that, software, models, weights, these are all things that have to be accessible under the four freedoms. And, same thing as with open source software projects. People who are interested should be able to access, modify, try it out, do what they want. However, there is one big piece there that is creating a lot of chatter and conflict and heated discussions around the industry and open source ecosystem all over the place. That is data. There are different opinions floating around in terms of whether data is what makes the AI model or not. So, like, how much that training data is factored into the end result when you are interacting with AI. However, we also know that not all data is shareable with the wide public. Just think about things like health data, personal information. So it's not something that you can just throw out in the public. At least I don't want all my health and personal data to float out there. It already does for various reasons, but that goes back to cybersecurity and not something that I just posted on the internet because I wanted everyone to see. So data is complicated because, again, it affects a lot in terms of the AI engine, but then there are also the circumstances around data because of which not all data can be shared. So in the open source AI definition, there is an outline on, describing what the data set is like that the model was trained on, share as much information about the data set as possible. If there is data set that is available even commercially to purchase somewhere, where that is. So again, sharing as much about the data as possible, but sharing the data itself is not a requirement of the current 1.0 version of the open source AI definition. So I wonder where that's going to take the ecosystem. And also, there is a note in the definition that when it comes to the legal space, well, this is the time for them to figure all this out.
Yep. Yeah, I think the easiest statement we can make there is that we're not done. I think discussion is going to continue. Version 1 is out, but yes, it is lacking from certainly some constituency that's out there. So we'll see what all formulates around how to have open models and what gets to be called an open source model versus other types of open or semi-open models that will be out there. So yeah, I don't think we're done yet, but that's okay because we're pretty new into this AI thing and models and how interesting they can be. Yet, as we both know, that space is moving very quickly.
I'm personally happy that there is a 1.0 version of the definition and that it's not the most restrictive, because personally, again, personal opinion, if the definition would have gone to the full extent of being restrictive and demanding data access at all times, then what that potentially would have resulted in is either not being taken seriously by most of the players in the AI space, or, having only very few things that comply, and then we all have access to way less information and software and models and weights of all AI models and AI engines that are out there. And I don't think that would have been a good way to approach it. Like if the industry has a definition that most companies, organizations cannot really rely on for various reasons, I don't think that it would have really given what the industry needs right now, and the ability to have a definition and then just, resolve those sort of misadvertisements of, oh, this is an open source AI model, even though there are restrictions in who can actually access and use it and modify it. I think it's more important to have clarity on that and then see where the AI space evolves, where the industry and ecosystem evolves, where the use cases evolve, and then where the open source AI definition evolves with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree, right? I mean, one of the pragmatic benefits of an open source license is that it's well enough defined that, we often throw out that term permissionless innovation, right? Where you didn't have to go get any kind of explicit permission from the author to be able to use it in a set of ways that you knew how, and quite unrestricted, is the open source, the traditional open source for freedoms. And as long as, again, you have some level of permissionless innovation that's manifest from what you have today, that's a benefit for um, widespread innovation, right, in this AI space around those models. So it's helpful. Might not be the be all end all, but it is still certainly helpful.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to mention that the open source initiative, OSI, stewards the space, open source definition, open source AI definition, but they don't have a way to enforce. They can't go after companies, organizations, individuals who are, in violation. So again, if the definition would have been too restrictive, then the only thing I personally think would have been a result is that just in the AI space, OSI and the definition would not be taken seriously. And I think that would be more harmful than a definition that, for good reasons, not everyone agrees with, but that is okay. And again, the space evolves, our understanding of AI and the use of AI evolves, and again, most likely the definition itself will evolve as well. That is why we have a 1.0. So we can have 1.1, 2.0. We'll see.